Alright, we're full sending it here. We are full sending it. Let me get out papers. Don't really care for much. Really anything. We're just gonna be doing this be me a talking show. Let me first get you guys able to see me. So that way you guys can actually see me. Because I am a human. I'm not some mythological beast. Although I wish I could be. Do not worry, I will get the Oklahoma hat here in just a minute. I'm just trying to get things focused for the show. And they're not wanting to work for me. So maybe they will work. Come on. I don't know why it's not wanting to work. Maybe if I do this. Still is not. It's still blurry. Cool. Alright, well, hold on. I gotta check. It's a TikTok for a second. Go follow me on TikTok. Yeah. I'm actually going to talk about it. I guess I'll talk about it. I need to settle the score. We're here. It's week 14. Blah blah blah. Week whatever postseason week you want to go by in OSSAA. Gonna spill the beans. Only see four outcomes come. I only see two outcomes coming out of these games. There really can only be two outcomes because it's not semifinals. If we can focus, dang it, if we can focus, that'll be great. We're also back to our family-friendly schedule, so no cussing. You'll just be hearing freak, frick, and frack. But still, though, I don't know why we're having issues getting me in frame. I'm using the white balance trick to achieve that, and that's not working. Maybe this will work. Nope. Not a bad. Oh, wait. See some movement? Get it moving. Maybe if I grab the hat and it blocks it. So now I got the hat right here. Oh, would you look at that? Now you guys can see me. Alright, as I was saying, let's rip the band-aid off. Let's talk about it. Don't go out of frame again, please. Oh, whatever, we'll go with it. The show is not sponsored, by the way. Make sure you are subscribed. We'll get to all this paper stuff in a little bit. Let's talk about OSSAA because we need to rip the band-aid off. Rip it off. Okay, yoo-hoo. Am I in focus? Okay, am I in focus? Can we see if I'm focused? Maybe that'll work. Am I in focus? Oh my god. It's times like these when you wish you had a robot companion. You wish you just had a way you could fix it all in one go. Balance trick, here you come again. Thanks for the rescue. And if I step back, it's because I'm too far close. Okay, I guess it's because I'm too far fucking close. Whatever. Sorry if that cut. So I keep it fair. Alright, so OSSAA, what do we know? Well, there's really only two outcomes I see coming out of these games, and there is actually, well, maybe. The only two most likely outcomes is BA Jinx in a rematch 2018's National State Championship for Oklahoma. Or the one-of-a-kind rare rivalry that we get to see BA and Bixby. That is the only way I see this going realistically. I think Jinx will take care of Owasso, and I think BA will handle Bixby. either way, we're going to talk both scenarios for both BA and Bixby, Jinx and Owasso. So for the home team, technically, for these teams, there's 4 narratives. There's 4 what scenarios. There's 2 for each team. That's why we have divisions. That's why we have 6, 1A, and all that. So the first scenario is the underdog wins. So that would mean you would have a rematch of week 4 in the regular season between Owasso and Broken Arrow, which would be the most favorable outcome you can think. So you're hoping, if you want BA, you're hoping Owasso beats Jinx, because then you have that rematch and you can avenge that head-to-head loss. We'll get into that later on. The second scenario is the far more realistic one, and one that most likely will happen. Depending on who shows up for these games, that could very well depend. We could very well be seeing a rematch of week 1 in the regular season with Bixby going after Jinx. BA and Owasso would be eliminated, which I wouldn't mind. Whatever, you rebuilt yourself. You still got to finish on. We'll see. We'll get into that later on in the show, because that's also what I want to talk about. We'll talk about the instant reaction again. Like I said, I wanted to rip the Band-Aid off, rip it off now before I have to take my word back. Give or take, Broken Arrow and Owasso upset. Anyways, like I said, there's 4 scenarios. There's 2 for each. Those are the first 2. Those would favor both those would favor the champs over the underdogs in that case. And then the other one would favor the underdogs. The other one is actually the more entertaining one. Like, the more entertainment you'll get out of it. So BA beats Bixby, and then Jinx beats Owasso. And then, so that scenario, you're setting a rematch of the 2018 state title between Jinx and Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow went into Jinx High School and took care of business, winning their first title and making the streak 1-3 in title play. This could mean, if this were the case, BA would have a shot at beating Jinx. However, like I said, going back to scenario 1, going back to that first scenario, I would recommend Owasso wins. It gives you an easier opponent to play than having to face Jinx, who is basically right behind Bixby in the rankings throughout the entire season. Just like Owasso and BA is. If you were to put Bixby and Jinx in the semifinals, BA and Owasso in the semifinals, you would basically have the top 4 teams in their respective divisions battling it out. That would be more entertaining, in my opinion, instead of this whole, Broken Arrow jumps from Jinx's side, Jinx jumps from Bixby's side division all the way to Broken Arrow's division. Owasso then jumps from Broken Arrow's division all the way to Bixby. You get the idea. Like, the divisions change, because then you have Bixby would have to face the 6A2. Owasso would have to face the 6A1. BA can't face any of those because they're basically they're in the same boat. So, like, BA is 6A1 and 2, whereas Owasso is strictly 6A1, and then Bixby and Jinx are obviously 6A2. But BA plays in both divisions. They play in the 6A2 and 6A1, but until they win, they're never going up. But they are considered a dual team in that sense. So BA would, no matter what, depending on who is in the running, if it's the same teams over and over, BA would still have to jump over to face one of the 6A2 teams. All that 6 to jump to face a 6A1 opponent, and then that other 6A1 opponent would jump to 6A2 to face the 6A2 player. So essentially, you would have Bixby and Owasso, the leaders. So let's think of it as the NFL with only 2 divisions, the AFC North and the NFC South. There was no other divisions. It was those 2, and that was it. And you had all those teams playing in that, and then it came down to, let's see, who would I think? BA would be the equivalent of the Broncos. where they've had some sparks, but they've never been able to do it. Bixby would be the Chiefs, where they're dominant and they seem to win every time. Jinx would be the Eagles, and Owasso would be the Rams in 2025. There you go. So it came down to Rams, Chiefs, Eagles, and Broncos. So there's your, and let's say they were in both divisions. Let's say you would have to have one team jump to another division to balance it out. If the Broncos and the Eagles lead their respective divisions, they would stay where they are. The other two teams flip and then play those opponents. So, like I said, that would mean that means the Chiefs would match up against the Rams, and then vice versa. And so that would mean the Rams. That would mean the Broncos would go face the Eagles, because that would be how that works. And that would essentially be what the bracket looks like for high school. However, the wrench in that plan is scenario 3, which I'll get to in a moment. But to recap scenario 2, it's the most entertaining, but it's most likely not going to happen. You would have a rematch of the title from 2018. Simple as that. I know we're going to get to everything else. To wrap things up, so scenario 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand. Don't even say it. I'm going to ban that meme at some point in the future. Hopefully, robots to take over and then make it not relevant anymore. If you know, you know. So, the real Band-Aid Ripper is if BA this is the third scenario, and this scenario would favor BA massively. BA beats Bixby, and Owasso beats Jinx. BA already faced Owasso, and they lost. So essentially, you're rematching from week 4 to avenge that loss with the win. It's the only way BA can at least get past without having to face Jinx. So Owasso needs to beat Jinx for BA to not have to play Jinx. Otherwise, if everything goes as planned, like I predicted, BA beats Bixby, Jinx beats Owasso. You're gonna have a tougher matchup with Jinx, which would be that scenario 3 wouldn't happen because it wouldn't trigger because no one in that team, no one in that semifinal has played each other. The only teams that have played each other are Bixby, Owasso, and Jinx. BA has not played. They only played one team in that entire bracket, in that entire picture, Owasso. Owasso is the same division as them. They've not played Jinx or Bixby. BA has not played Bixby or Jinx in the regular season. That's why Bixby is so heavily favored. Is because we haven't seen BA and Bixby go head to head on the green field. I think that'll change. We'll see. Moneyline is, of course, I'm taking BA, of course, to cover. Give me BA to win that. Like I said, I'll talk about it when whenever it starts. I think it's Thursday, Thanksgiving, whatever. We'll see. Can't wait. Scenario 4, again, like I said, is hand to hand. It's the other way around, though. Bixby beats BA, and then Owasso beats Jinx. Then you're basically just getting basically what I like to call the battle of the heavyweights. 2 heavyweights going toe-to-toe, which, from an entertainment standpoint, basically be Alabama and Georgia or Oklahoma and Alabama. That is essentially what you're going to get in that game. So let's move on from high school and go into the college football level. Rankings. What did I think about them? Like I said in my reaction, college football died tonight. It did. It died. It really died tonight. Let me just paint you a picture. You're on the committee. Everyone close your eyes. No peeking, no sneaky peeking, okay? I want you to close your eyes as I take you and I picture the picture. I paint this picture for you. You're on the committee and you have all the powers to put these teams where they need to be. You already know who's going to be the top 5. You already know who's going to take the 4 buys. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, and Georgia. That's good. You already know who your 4 buys are. Then you have Ole Miss. And then now you know, and you know where Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Georgia, they all fade. It go. Next you have Georgia, then Texas Tech, then Ole Miss, and Oregon. That's fine. Then you go to number 8 and 9 and 10, and you think about it. Oh, you put Oklahoma there, Notre Dame above Alabama, Alabama below Notre Dame because those two head-to-head in the way Notre Dame killed Syracuse. So there's that picture of the 12-team playoff. Now look at these other teams, and I want you. This is where the picture is going to get very warped. BYU 11, Miami 12, Utah 13, Vanderbilt 14, Michigan 15. Okay. So take those teams, and I want you to put them where you think they would fit in the 12-team playoff. If you were to say, okay, we're gonna shelve you, you teams are gonna be shelved for later conversation. Come on in, you guys. Step on up, one single file. We do it respectfully and civilly here. Let's go down the list. Vanderbilt, what's your resume like? Well, we lost to Alabama, but it was close. We won against Tennessee and ranked Tennessee, and we have a pretty good case that we won in one of the hardest conferences to win it. Okay, we'll keep you in mind. Miami, what did you do? We won against Notre Dame and beat Pitt. Yeah, but it looks like the rankings. Pitt might. If you beat Pitt, they're out of the playoff. Not only out of the playoff, but not only out of the ACC race. They're out of the rankings. Now suddenly that win doesn't become a quality win. It becomes just a win. Just a normal day in the office. So tell me, do you really think Vanderbilt, who's played from behind all year long, doesn't deserve to get an edge over you just because you went ahead and said, we beat Notre Dame? Stand aside for a second. We have another guy. Michigan. What is going on with you, bro? You're the poster child of the Big Ten. You're up there with Penn State, Ohio State. Sit on your throne. And now you're facing the Buckeyes for the 5th time in a row. If you win, you're in. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. Michigan, we would like you to pack your thing, walk out that door, and kiss your playoff hopes goodnight. That leaves Vanderbilt, Miami, and BYU. BYU, come on forward. Now, look at this. It says here on your record, your greatest win was the Holy War. Your greatest loss, like Alabama, is Oklahoma. Your greatest loss is to Texas Tech. So you're 1-1. Okay. You played some of the tougher teams. You beat Cincinnati on the road. I think we're going to give you the edge over Miami, regardless of the ACC. The Miami will get the ACC spot. Tulane will get the group of 5. And then BYU, Vanderbilt, come on in. We'll take, let's see, who do we want to take out? Notre Dame, come on out. You're out. Oregon, I'm so sorry, but you failed again, and you're out. Vanderbilt, the picture now ends with this field. A field of teams who have played the entire regular season. Vanderbilt and BYU, looking dead on to the barrel of that committee shotgun, and they walk right past it, and they enter the dorm of playoff teams, taking the bids of the final 2 spot. This week, we'll talk about it. In terms of the actual rankings, I was 1 for 25 for everyone. in terms of the playoffs, I was actually 11 for 12, surprisingly. So I got butchered everything past number 12 and 13. I butchered everything past number 11. Whatever, the committee, they do what they want. They say they're pro football, but we all know who would be actually ranked and whatnot if they were actually pro football. Bunch of hippies running this state. It's like a certain president running our country. It's just, you wish you could change it, but you can't because you don't have the power. What a world we live in. Welcome to the year 2025. And yet we still don't know who our Heisman is, even in late November. God, what a sport this is. Alrighty, let's talk about it. You know what time it is. Like I said, the rankings, I'm just going to say right now, if the committee dares to put BYU and Vanderbilt in, they all have some serious backbone. If they don't, they're basically saying your conference doesn't matter and your title doesn't matter. Because I tell you what, BYU wins the title, avenges the loss for Texas Tech. They're going to make it in. I don't care if Vanderbilt beats Alabama by 800. BYU will jump ahead of Vanderbilt, Miami, and everyone else because they won the Big Ten championship. As I need I remind you, the 4 byes go by the how it works is each bye is separated by a conference title. So, for instance, the Big 10, you have if Ohio State wins the Big 10, that means they get the number 1 seed. If Indiana, and so then you would have it. Sorry, I'm thinking this wrong. Sorry. The highest ranked teams out of the Power 4 conference get the byes, and 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down to 10, all the way down. Just normally it would be each conference gains 2 teams per minimum. You get 2 ACC representatives, you get 2 Group of 5 representatives, because the playoff is set to be 2, 2, 4, which is 8, and then 10, and then 2 more. So you can, if this was a perfect world, we would get 2 Group of 5, 2 ACCs, 4 SEC, 4 Big 10, 2 Big 12, and 2 8, and then 2 Sun Belt teams, and that would be our 12-team playoff. It's not. So all I gotta say is good luck to the committee. The ball's in their court. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. After 4 months of waiting, after 4 months of constant talking, I can officially say the committee has given us their final rankings before Selection Sunday. Yes, I may be getting a cold. What I will say, watch out, you top 10 teams. Don't think last week was a setup to this week. And we all know who we're gonna be watching go toe to toe. Can't wait for that Ann Arbor game between Michigan and Ohio State. Thank God our team isn't playing until 2:30. We'll probably look at it and it'll be like 18. It'll be like 34-2. Guarantee you. The defense for Oklahoma is gonna have a blast tomorrow on Saturday. So, folks, there's your smaller show. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Clear up some things. December 1st, we will get back to our show because we'll be out of Thanksgiving, so we'll be back to our normal schedule. But, folks, that's what we're going to have to end off on. Again, if you're wanting, your playoffs, I got 11 of 12, which I will take 11 and 12. That means I got one team wrong, and that team was Ole Miss, which I didn't expect that to happen. And then everything else from 12 and onward, I got fucked up royally by the committee. The committee doesn't care about football. They only care about when you lose and who you win, what time you win. So that goes for the last time. Say goodbye. This will be the last time you see this paper or digital paper in the show. And I'm gonna make it ceremonial because I can. Also, yeah, if you're wondering, here's the other teams as well, just so you guys understand. They weren't mentioned, so I kind of just. I'm gonna just take those as wins and say I got them right. Couldn't get a place getting Clemson at 8 at number 1 and that, and I would still not care. Here we are. Let me do this, and for the last time I got my drawer open, so you see a bunch of stuff. Are you ready? Alright, stream is fixed. Stream has been fixed, everyone. There it is. As we say goodbye to our rankings, the Alex poll for the last time. The Alex poll. We had so much fun with it. And it goes right under there. That's all she wrote. Cinematic, I know. That's all she wrote. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you December 1st. Chaos. Let the chaos reign supreme. See you guys on Christmas, on the start of Christmas, and the calendar begins. The holiday. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I bless you all for a grateful Thanksgiving for our year of the Lord 2025. I'm Alex McKinney. We're here, we're gone, we're going. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Hope it goes very well. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'll see you guys next Monday. We'll be back to normal, 5:50. Mark your calendars. 5:50, we'll be back. Sorry, 6:50, mark your calendars, brand new time. I'm gone. Oh, you hate to see so many teams get left out. What a freaking mess. I love it.